Hey everybody, welcome back to JOJ, and we are in the, what is this? This is actually the 4th week of October.
Yes.
Yeah, 4th Sunday in October, and our first month of doing our series this way.
Yep.
So hope you're enjoying it. Be sure to let us know if you are, and I guess if you're not, let us know that too. But yeah, we definitely want to hear from y'all and hear if you're liking this. I think we've definitely enjoyed this, and got one more week left in the month to break down another topic. So but yeah, this week, integrity, and our subtopic is when no one is looking. When Jennie had wrote these little topics down, and I saw this one, I'm like, I really like the way that one sounds. I think that could be a neat thing to talk about.
And I think it's something that is easily a problem, a temptation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we do have a lot, it seems like anymore, of people of all ages.
Yeah.
We have time, and not only time, but access. Access
is the big thing.
Yeah. The access to so much through one of these is literally at your fingertips.
Yep. But the 2 Bible verses that we have, I'll do the first one is...
Why? Because it's shorter?
Yep. Proverbs 10:9.
Beat me to it.
Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out.
Yeah. And we'll come back to that one in a minute. I really like that one for this.
I stole that for him.
For this topic, yep. And the other is Proverbs as well, 4:25 through 27. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Right, straight in front of you. Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right, this way, or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. So that one, that really kind of gives you the visualization of, walking that straight and narrow path. I really like that because it gives us that, I almost want to say a warning or a disclaimer, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. And that, I think that's why it's so easy for people to slip on things such as their integrity or different things like that. It's because I'm not going to get caught.
Yeah.
And you may not in this lifetime. You may not this week. You may not this month. You may not this year. You may not in this whole lifetime.
But eventually it'll catch up.
It will, because when this life is over, the guy who knows everything that happened
knows everything that happened.
So your crooked ways will be found out at some point in time or another. Hopefully that you have, since your crooked ways, you've come to know the Lord, and you've asked for salvation and you've asked for forgiveness of that. But if not, you will have to pay for your crooked ways at that point. So, but yeah, I was kind of talking about the temptation, like Jennie mentioned, of what we have, that the access that is so readily available to all of us anymore. And that's, we have time as people of any age. You can pick up a phone, you can pick up a tablet, any of those things, and basically whatever you want to find is anything at your fingertips.
And it's and I think in every relationship is different, but like you've got to have what your your standards are, and what you value, and I'm a really big, like, I had a friend one time tell me, what you see and what you hear leads to your heart. And if you see and hear things that are unbiblical and just of the world constantly, that's eventually what is in your heart, because like you kind of justify it and say it's okay. I'm still pretty strict on like what our kids watch and see. Like the twins really want to watch Jaws, and I know it's like it's really old. It's like it's not like it's. I mean, at our time, in our time, it was graphic, but now it's like nothing. It's so fake that it's obvious, but I'm still like, but for me, I'm like, listen, y'all are going to watch this, and then we're going to go to the beach, and you're not going to get in the ocean, and you're not going to ruin our beach trip because you're terrified of Jaws coming out in the ocean. But I mean, and then obviously, like for Abby, you know, her being older, like almost every movie now, like what's rated PG is like would have been PG-13 when we were growing up. And so like, you know, like I'm still try to screen things or certain movies she wants to watch. I'm like, you know, I'm going to watch it first, because when things are so of the world and make it seem okay, then in your mind this is okay.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and then it leads to like when you're alone and by yourself, then it's like, well, no one's going to know that I've watched this, or no one's going to know that I've seen this, or no one's going to know that I've typed this, or, you know, and that leads into, you know, with friendships or, you know, just whatever of talking behind people's back and, you know, or saying things because they're, you know, not there. And, you know, we're all guilty of doing that, but trying to know that, okay, like I always try to say, if you're not going to say it to their face, then you probably shouldn't say it. Like, you need to stop and think, is this something I would verbally say to them if they were standing in front of me or not?
Yeah.
And if you would say it to them, then you probably should. And, you know, and have the air cleared of that.
Yeah, because that's, I think we will all consider things that we would do in private that we would never ever do in public. I mean, exactly what you're saying. Or maybe you would do it, that you get to the point where it's like, well, you do it around your friends, but certainly not around your parents.
Yeah. And
then that'll slip around to where, you know, maybe as you get older or whatever, you do this around your parents some, but you wouldn't do it around your grandparents. And maybe it gets to the point where you do it around your grandparents, but you wouldn't do it around your preacher. You know, so it's like, but all that started back because you did it by yourself in your room one time when there was no accountability, there was nobody else watching, there was nobody else paying attention to what you were doing, and you did it then. And in your mind, it's like what you said, you justified it, you okayed it. You said, well, I've saw this, I've done that. This person seems fine, and I know that they do this.
Yeah.
And the first time that you did it, you know, was completely in private. No one was around. No one could see it. No one could.
Yeah.
You didn't get in trouble for it. There was, you know, and those are the times that's, you know, where you'll let yourself slip that first time. And then it's like what you said, that what goes in your ears, in your mind, becomes, you know, it
takes over your heart.
It takes over a little bit, especially once it happens again, and then again, and then again.
Yeah, and you know, and I've heard a quote before, or a saying maybe of like, you know, and who you are when no one is around is who you are. So like, do you want that to be, you know, like if you're being the person you are when no one's looking or around, like would you be okay with standing out in front of 1,000 people or tens of thousands of people and claiming to be this person?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a hard, you know, thing to, you know, a hard juggling act. And I hope, you know, and we've talked a lot about it, especially like being in the limelight and stuff. Like, I wouldn't ever want people to be like, okay, well, we've seen Aunt and Jennie here, but then when we see them at home, like they're totally different.
Right.
Like, you know, just like that's just not. You got
to be the same all the time.
Yeah.
But that's definitely the, you know, and because it's going to catch up to you. You're going to, you know, that you're going to slip up at some point in time. Yeah. If you're trying to live this persona, you know, you're going to make a mistake. Somebody's going to catch you, especially now.
Oh yeah, and it's probably going to be on film.
Because not only does everybody have access, they also all have a camera.
Yes.
So you're going to get caught. Your crooked ways will be found out.
Yes.
And then everybody will know it. So.
And people seem to want to highlight that. Like, you know, if you know, that's the thing is everybody makes mistakes, and everybody, you know, makes a bad choice or makes bad choices, but it's how you respond to those, and, you know, of coming clean and asking for forgiveness and not wanting to live that way. Like, that's the difference. You can either make bad choices, continue to make bad choices, complain about your bad choices, but still make those bad choices.
Live in them.
Or you say, you know what, I really screwed up here. Like, you know, talk to a friend, somebody, preacher, whoever, and pray about it and say, I just don't want to do that anymore. And it'll be hard because the devil's going to tempt you over and over and over again. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, and with the access to everything, like, one of my biggest fears as a mom is like and no offense to guys, but are the guys that they're going to marry, because they have had so much of just this, and and the world is very what girls should look like, and just this persona of what's not real life. And so their minds have been so flooded because it's just constantly everywhere. And then on the opposite end is like our girls feel like this is how they should look, this is how they should act,
that's what's expected of them.
Exactly. And so it's just like really hard as parents right now to raise kids in this, and to explain to them like when no one is looking, like this is like, that's where you have to stand strong, because that's where you're going to be tempted the most. And if your parents and your kids have devices, put screen times, lock them things down. Like we have codes on everything, I feel like.
We finally learned,
after
what
several mistakes and trials, we've, we've learned that, the best thing we can do is to not overly shelter our kids, because they will be in this world, but to protect them from what we can, what's age appropriate. So
for sure. And that's looking at that second verse again in Proverbs 4:25 and 27. That's such a good description. It gives us such a good visual of that. Let your eyes look directly forward. Let your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right or the left. Turn your foot away from evil. That's such a very good visual of what that's supposed to look like. One of the last fishing churches of the year. If you've not watched that one, I think I had a full video of it. Hopefully,
Andy's I think was pretty good.
His was really good. His topic, and it was kind of like that, about people looking at us as anglers through a microscope. And definitely because of the platform we have and stuff. So kind of a similar type of thing. So that last verse, that was Proverbs 4:25 and 27. You want to share your short verse again?
Proverbs 10:9, and it's, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out.
So all right, so come back next week.
And we'll wrap up integrity, right?
And October,
and we'll talk about integrity in being parents and in your friendships, and
there'll be trick-or-treating next week.
I know, there will be trick-or-treating.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next week.
Yep.